I could not believe or communicate the like jealousy sometimes that goes on within comedians. I'm
Oh.
sure it's like, oh my God, it's crazy about like, I've had to talk friends down of just looking at other people's flyers. And it's like everyone is in kindergarten here. A lot of, not everyone, but a lot of people, are like,
Yeah.
she has this and I don't have this. And so I've really had to like do some healing and kind of adjust myself. Otherwise, I was either going to like become part of it or let it like eat me alive.
Hi, everybody. I'm here today with Meryl Klemow.
Oh, cuckoo, hi.
So, Meryl is a comedian and she's also a writer, and we know each other through the podcast world. So,
Yes.
I thought she'd be a wonderful person to talk to as we're writers and we're podcasters.
Yay, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, and then so Meryl and I were going to get into process because it's always interesting to other writers how a writer's process works. And I was telling her that because, I find my life so chaotic and I might be a tiny bit chaotic that I like to go for walks and dictate because then at least I have the words there and then I can get them transcribed and put them on a piece of paper and start to work with them. And then I also
Yes.
know it's human created because if I spoke it and I wrote it, I always like to have a process that is completely AI free in this day and age of tarred and feathering writers who use AI. I do not
Yeah.
use AI.
It's a rare breed.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, just it doesn't, you don't get the right voice, the right sound, and you don't get the satisfaction. Like, I like to go, oh my God, I wrote this. I am so smart. And if I didn't write
Yeah.
it, then I can't tell myself that.
Yes. Wait, could I also really quickly tell people a funny story of how you and I met?
Sure. Yes, go
Okay, good.
ahead.
I thought because this was like in my brain. I want people to know. I think this is funny. And feel free, you can cut this out if I'm giving away too much information or anything like that. But for one of my day jobs, I work in podcasting, as you mentioned, and I was at a time where it was just like all these clients I felt like I was kind of misaligned with, just in terms not like their message or anything, but just scheduling wise, my own pace wise, and just a few different things. And so I had a weekend where like I don't know what moon cycle I was in or whatever, but I had a weekend where I'm like, I'm cutting off every single thing that doesn't serve me. And like, I'm trusting the universe to kind of bring me like the next chapter of that. And so like, I let go of a whole bunch, or like by let go, I mean, I messaged the person I work with and just said like, I can't do these anymore. And I even like wrote to some of the clients and said, I don't think I'm like vibrationally a match for our show anymore. And like, I'm like, was I in a manic episode or something? So anyway, I told my colleague like I need to find a another person to basically do what I was doing because I just felt like I had kind of I needed to shed some skin. And so then like I think we did a call for some like amazing podcast people and you were one of the first people that we got. And after seeing your resume, it was so funny because him and I are both like, oh my God, this is you, but like me with like 8,000 more skills. And like usually I kind of pride myself on like not having that many skills, but being able to like somehow just do fine in life. And what you were like amazing times 300 what we were looking for. And then I don't know if people have ever had this where you kind of like seek a replacement and then your replacement is just like viably better and then
What was
and
that?
but you have to be happy with that. And if anything, I'm like, well, this is the decision I consciously made. So like now wonderfully this person is on our team and like I felt like it was the right fit for you at that time and like now we all grow together. And
Oh, I
the
love
funny thing
it.
is those
Yeah.
clients kind of went away on their end, but then of course like trusting the universe, I think the next month I was like invoicing and I'm like, oh, I have like no dollars coming in because I let everything go. And so learning to then trust the universe but then like really really trust it, I think is such a funny thing because it's funny when you like cut loose and like shed your skin, but then there's like nothing's grown yet. And so I was naked in the wind, but now a year later here we are together. And I think it's so cool. I think sometimes being able to like breathe things like contract and constrict with different things.
Oh, it's true. And you do have to start, I call it getting into the river. Like, this is my own metaphor. In
Yeah.
life, like, instead of trying to swim against the current or fight to go someplace, sometimes you just got to let the water take you to where you're meant to go. And
Yeah.
then you end up there, right? Like I've absolutely loved working with you and with Jonathan. And then you sort of gave me the whole doing, like I started podcasting and creating podcasts for a few friends of mine and running their Substacks, which then grew my skill set, which I learned from Jonathan, because Jonathan has the client that shall not be named, I guess.
Yep. Yep.
We were doing podcasts for them and then writing articles for them based on the content of the podcast. I'm like, that's genius. Like,
Yeah.
that's genius. So that's what I now do with my own podcast. We'll have this podcast and then I'll transcribe it and then turn it into an article. So it's the same content repurposed. Yeah, and I thought then you can take that same content and make a book. Like to be able to take the same good content and repurpose it, I think is kind of genius. And that's what Jonathan was doing. I'm like, wow, that's so smart. Then I got to meet you, and you're the very first real life comedian I've ever had as like a friend.
Ah,
So I love
I
that.
apologize on behalf of us, but
Yeah, no, no, no.
you've got a
No.
glimpse into like, I mean, I feel like it was a very, very like now knowing myself and a lot of other comedians, it is very comedian to feel like overloaded with people contacting you and then like let it all go and then be like, but wait, like I'm still here, like it's a very like I can't handle it, but where is everyone type of thing. So yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, that just means it's kind of making room for what's more important for you. Like doing podcasts is fun, but is it like my like what I is it what my soul screams for? Is that what I want at
Right.
the end of that river I'm drifting down? No, I want to have books out in the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I want to
Yep.
have books out in the world. So now I'm actually co-writing with an author called Craig Martell, and
Ooh,
he's like really big into space opera. He's got over 200 books out. He was like one of the people who created 20 books to 50K.
cool. That's
And he
awesome. Wait, what was his name again?
Craig Martell.
Okay.
And he's co-writing with me. How I got lucky
That's
enough to be one of the ones he
amazing.
selected, I have no idea. But it's exactly what I want and exactly what I need. And it's happening at exactly the right time because I lost my big podcast client, or at least she's on hiatus right now.
See,
And
it's the
so
river. Your river flowed.
it's flowing. I mean, I don't know about that. It's not flowing with money quite yet,
I
but
know. I know. I know. That's its own thing. Sometimes my river bank is dry. Other times it's filled with rocks and twigs. And yeah.
yes, exactly. Exactly. But look at you. You've started your own podcast business, right? Like you do your
Yes.
comedy, but now you're also booking people for podcasts, right?
Exactly. And I feel like that's where when you just talked about like your soul screaming and being excited. And I feel like that's definitely where I've been the most excited in a few years, like in terms of work is being people's podcast booking agent. Like I come from more of a background of the production, like how we talked about everything but the editing. So like show notes, project management, launching the show, all that fun stuff, but nitty gritty stuff. And I've I think like my favorite and kind of my like strong suit is definitely both booking people on shows and then like working with different podcasts and booking them guests. So, that was something I was doing for many years, is working on the podcast side and helping find guests for their shows and like guest chasing. And I love that so much. And then I just decided to kind of like flip it around and use a little bit more of my PR background and start
Oh,
booking people on shows and really like being intentional about why is someone coming on a show and what are they really trying to get out of it, because I think I'm sure you've been part of it too, where like the boom of the past couple of years, it's like easy for people to kind of spray and be on a million shows now, but it's kind of like, what's the actual point of it? And, why what is everyone looking to get out of it? So I really take the time with my clients, and I usually take on only about like five to six people every 3 months, just so I can like really focus and think about everything. But it's like I'll be watching a TV show and I'm like looking from the lens of a podcast booking agent almost. Where everywhere I
oh,
go, I'm just like, okay, this would be good for this. So I really love it, and I teamed up with a few of my different longtime PR people, where like they have a PR agency and then I'm the podcast arm of it. So it's
that's
been like
brilliant.
so fun, and I feel like I don't know, I just feel like renewed and happy. And I think like, when we talked about kind of shedding stuff, it would have never happened if I didn't kind of create like the space for it.
It never does, right? right?
Right.
You gotta shut the one door before another door can open, or you don't have the time. You don't have the time. You don't have the space. You don't have the bandwidth.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I approached one of my favorite longtime PR girls, my friend Jordan at Julep Publicity, and I said to her like, this might be a weird idea and feel free to say no, but like, she has had a PR business for many years, a really successful one, and I just was like, I envisioned myself doing like the podcast side of things for you, and kind of this is what I propose. And she was open to it, and we were off and running like last October. So it's almost like a lesson too. I'm sure you've done this where it's like sometimes you can just create things and you don't have to like, it didn't really make sense, but like now it totally makes sense for everyone.
Oh, I love that. So you just created it. Okay, can we just stop for a second and look how meta this is? You're a
Yeah.
podcast guest. You're a podcast guest on a podcast talking about booking guests to be on podcasts.
Well, sometimes too, like we just had this with a client where he was actually a fit for my colleague, John, the aforementioned Jonathan. Like he's one of the podcast production companies I work for, and Jonathan himself has a great podcast. So I'm like, is it bad if we're booking our clients on our own podcast? And I'm like, no, if it's a fit and it's like a natural, authentic fit, then that's wonderful. Like it's not a fit for some people, and that's okay too. So it is funny, like the kind of Russian doll version of everything where it all fits into each other.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, hold on a second. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's cool though. It's definitely cool. I found it so fun, and both you and Jonathan are like so freaking welcoming and
Aw.
cute, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun. And you, like I said, you're a real life comedian. So how do you mix up your comedian life with your is it called chase producing?
Like guest chasing. Yeah. So like
Yes,
I
chasing.
just say like, yeah, like podcast booking agency is pretty much what I call it.
Podcast booking
But
agency.
but yeah, I feel like it's always been like ingrained in my little soul since I was young, where I have a part of me that's like, like trying to get along and do normal life things like pay my bills and like, like at that time it was go through school and go through college and kind of be serious and do like a track of somewhat like society thriving type things, and then like more of an artistic comedic side. I feel like since I was little I've always just been balancing that in different ways, whether it's like performing or like I did radio in San Diego, and I also was part of like a local variety TV show called Tonight in San Diego. So I felt
Oh,
like
nice.
there's always been some stuff where I'm like doing something devilish and kind of more like quote unquote like artistic or expressive on the other side of things, while I'm trying to just like actually be a human that can pay my
Adult.
bills and stuff.
You're
Yeah, I haven't
adult.
I haven't fully, and now they're converging as close as they can be, where I'm like it really is like synergistic, but I think I just in a good way I'm kind of relentless about having a life where I can do both. And like I really like the aspect of it where I'm not too much into like I love being part of comedy, but I don't seek being out every night as a stand-up comedian. Like I really like a balance. And I think for me, knowing that I want to do stand up long term, I've just chosen to go a little bit slower at my pace so I can hopefully not burn out and be there longer, because it's really important to me to have a life where I actually can like go to dinner with my friends and, even just take a night off and watch The West Wing with my boyfriend and stuff. And so even if it takes longer to kind of meet my goals, I'm happy to do that and have like a nice, calm life.
Oh my God, that's something that most of us writers should be listening to because obviously, I don't know if you know that the burnout is huge in writers.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same kind of thing because you want to meet your goal. And then, as you know too, it's like that whole mountain metaphor. Every time you hit a summit, all of a sudden there's another summit.
Totally.
You never hit the top.
Absolutely.
You know, you get one book done, you're like, now I need to have a series. And then
Yes.
now I need that series to be on the New York Times bestseller list. Now I need to go on 108 podcasts to promote it. Now. And then you end up like,
Yes. Well, I'm
so
sure many of us can relate. I think the writer side of me too, I could be prone to truly like a nervous breakdown, and I've had like little mini ones throughout my life. So I just know that like for me experiencing my goals and my wins and my challenges like in a calmer, slower state is so much better for me, rather than like I've definitely had times of my life where I was frantic to meet my goals, and then I did meet some of them, and then I wasn't even happy, and in fact I was like
yeah.
not feeling well. So I feel like this is the first time where I'm just like, okay, and it's funny too because I think I had to do that, like moving to Los Angeles and being around so many people that are like insanely talented and like very very driven and kind of cutthroat and stuff. I had to almost like choose my own adventure and just kind of like create my own stuff, you know. And I also have a
Absolutely.
ton of friends like I could not believe or communicate the like jealousy sometimes that goes on within comedians. I'm
Oh.
sure it's like, oh my god, it's crazy about like I've had to talk friends down of just looking at other people's flyers, and it's like everyone is in kindergarten here. A lot of not everyone, but a lot of people, you know, are like,
Yeah.
she has this and I don't have this, and so I've really had to like do some healing and kind of adjust myself. Otherwise, I was either gonna like become part of it or let it like eat me alive.
Envy's hard. You know what? Writing comedy, envy's very hard because then you're always like, well, I want to have,
Of course.
the $30,000 forget that $100,000 traditionally published deal. And they're, well, how did she get it and I didn't? But then you know what I try and do? This is how I manage it. Is I'm always like, I try to look at envy almost as a good emotion.
Yeah,
Like
yep,
I look at envy as something that's making me aware of my goals. So if somebody achieves something and I'm like, oh, great for them, and I don't feel even a nip of envy, I don't care and I don't need to do what they're doing.
exactly.
But then if I find out somebody has, for example, even listening to you talk about how you found balance and you're able to like have dinner with your friends and not push the comedy agenda, I feel a tiny spark of envy. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to be that balanced. But then instead,
Oh.
instead of hating Meryl, I'm like, I admire you for it. And I'm like, I can now learn. I can learn that that's important to me. So I should focus on it. Same thing, like if I learn that somebody, I don't know, I'll get out of the writing. Even somebody who's does a wonderful job at a ranch riding show or does something and I'm not currently showing right now, I can be like, well, that must be important to me. That's how come we have a hot tub. Because I started hating my friends who had hot tubs and then
Really?
like being devastated if I was invited over for dinner and they happened to be cleaning the hot tub and I couldn't get in the hot tub, I'd be like, what? I want to cry. But I'm like, if you have such an intense envy that you now, you know, there was like a line in life, the people with hot tubs and the people
Oh
without
my god,
hot
that's
tubs.
so funny. That's so, and it's like it's also like what kind of hot tub are we talking? Above ground, below ground, like the the cheap ones that you get at a fair. It's like marble ones.
At this point, I just wanted to be on the side of the line of the people. I didn't at this point care
Just
if it
any
was a
hot tub.
heated water trough. I just
I was gonna say it
wanted
could be like a big bath, you know.
with some wood underneath it on fire. Like I didn't care. So I did just go, it's time, Luke, to my husband. I'm getting a hot tub, you
Oh my
know.
god, I love it.
And then he went
Yeah,
like, it's like, I'm just going to get the hot tub. So yeah, we do have a hot tub now. And now I feel better. But
good. See,
envy,
it's like
envy,
haha.
I didn't ruin my friendships. Envy just let me know that that was something that was important enough to me that I was willing to sacrifice other things to have it. So envy,
Exactly.
the green-eyed monster, as long as you're not like, as long as you can celebrate the wins of other, can also just help you direct yourself, right?
Exactly. And I always think kind of like the we don't know what we don't know type of thing. Like the reason I kind of seek out balance so much now is because like definitely in my younger years I really struggled with like anxiety, panic attacks, all that stuff. So it was almost like that wouldn't be important to me if I didn't have had some pain around it before. So I and I think a lot of people too when we see them succeeding so much, they're driven because like a lot of times it's good, but a lot of times they're also doing it because of some like deep pain that they have, or they're trying to make their parents love them or something. So I'm like, we never know why people are accomplishing and doing things. And so I just feel like sometimes like if people are like, you're so lucky to me or whatever, I'm like, if you only knew, which I'm sure everyone has that kind of if you only knew type stories, but I think we all are like dealing with so much more than what we all see than the hot tub that's above ground per se.
That's exactly. That's why I love certain thriller books.
Mm.
I love the ones where she looks like she has the perfect life and the perfect husband, but really she's going to murder her husband next week and her parents are, I love those. I
Yeah.
love those books where it looks like they have the perfect wealthy life, but they're really miserable and there's murder and mayhem. And I just could eat them.
Exactly.
I could eat them up. I love them.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I really like the like. eighth grade version of where it's like a colorful romantic picture. Like they sell them at Target where it's like a beach read, but it's the same thing where it's like, I don't know, there's always their mess is like she's in love with her boss, and what he doesn't know is that he's actually in love with like another man, or I don't know. I love that type of stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah, those
yeah,
are fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
no, I always like that. In fact, the book I'm writing with Craig Martell, the idea I pitched him is 100% one of those. She looked like she had the perfect life. It's like a real estate agent, the dream listing. But then really, when she stalked her and got the life, dun dun dun. Kinda- Yeah.
Totally. But yeah, I just like talked to one of my best friends, got into a comedy festival that she's been trying to get into and like repeatedly rejected. And then this year she got in, and all of a sudden it was like this excited wave of emotion. And then it was like dread of like, oh my God, I'm actually in. I'm intimidated by who else is on it. And I really tried to remind her, like, you are truly competing with just yourself. And like, try,
Yeah.
like I feel like hopefully for my friends in LA, I try to at least be some voice of counsel for that, because like I don't really struggle with comparison. Like I feel like I struggle with a lot of other things, but I'm able to sometimes just be like, it's not, I really see clearly that it's like we're in it like with ourselves, you know?
It is true because ultimately, what is in the writing world, often the ones that burn the brightest or have the biggest first debut novels, often they just die, right? Like they
Yeah.
burn out, they die off. They only have one good book in them, or their next book doesn't do as well, and their publishing house drops them. And
Hmm.
it's a sustainable career. It's like what you're saying. It's like a lifetime of creativity,
Yeah. Yep.
right? That's the goal. The goal is not to be, you know, not to start like a great big fire and then just burn out. I mean, who wants that?
Exactly. And I'm sure you've seen this too. Like I see some of the top comedians and I'm like, I would not trade my life for theirs in 1 second. You know, they seem to like not be very grounded in things. And there's a lot of addiction issues and a lot of like, whether it's work addiction or whatever types, it's just it's like you have to really like the life that you're in. And I don't know. I think that I try to tell that to my freaking out LA friends.
That's hilarious. See, we have very different lives. You're in like the glitz and the glamour and the busyness of LA, and I'm in like a small Canadian horse farm.
I love it. That's like the power of podcasting and everything is just connecting everyone. I was just at brunch with a friend and we had a mutual friend in common. I had to laugh because like at least my one friend is petty and crazy in like a really funny way. Where I was telling her, I'm like, I'll just name this girl Henrietta. I'm like, Henrietta seems to be doing really well. Like she just has a huge podcast and blah blah. And my friend was like, I know. And she said it like she was getting her appendix out. And I had to burst out laughing because I'm like, at least you're owning it that you're like, but also like in a serious way, that's so troubling if you're like upset if someone else is doing really well, because the two of them have nothing to do with each other. So to me it's like so silly because my friend is so like comedic in the way that she hates on it, but in real life that is like, I mean, she does go to therapy for it, but yeah, but it's like someone else's success literally has nothing to do with like this scenario.
If if somebody else has more money, it doesn't mean that if they didn't have their money, you're not going to have more. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right.
and
And
then
yeah, I'm sure for writing too. I mean, it does matter if they're like the New York Times is choosing like 10 books to read this summer, and then it's like, okay, there are like a limited amount of spaces.
I mean, in the indie world, I mean, that is definitely true in traditional publishing. It's limited. The
Yeah,
agents only are willing to represent so many people. The publishers are only taking so many books. It's definitely there's only so many, spots at the table, and the writers are fighting for them. But the indie world's different, right? The indie
yeah,
world, I, even though obviously there's troubles in it as well, but the theory that the rising tide lifts all boats is sort of true. And people are voracious readers. So if you find out that, let's say you write a book about bananas addicted to heroin, and you
true.
fa
How do
you
you know?
know,
Yeah, how do
you
you know my
know,
search history?
there you go. And like, and then I'm like, oh, but I want to write about asparagus addicted to heroin, and then like we could share readers,
Yeah.
or whatever strange niches there are. We can learn from each other.
And then
So
like I find it so interesting, like working with authors on the podcast side of things. how I was under the assumption, I thought like they put together book signings and they were doing like so much publicity for authors, and a lot of the traditional publishing don't, which is why, so there's like authors will come to us like seeking help getting them on podcasts and PR. But I think I just had this like older New York version where I'm like, oh, they just put you up on like a 50 city tour, and like for some I think they still do, but it's not the way that it used to be, almost like how the music industry is, where they're not servicing their clients, like the record label doesn't do everything and more like it used to.
It's exactly what's happening. So, I mean, for me, I'm like, and then you give away how many of your profits. So I'm going to try
Yeah.
it. Like, we'll see. We'll see. I'll let you know. We will have a part two
Good.
because I'm hoping to put at least 3 books out this year.
Amazing.
So it's time. It's time to shit or get off the pot,
It's
Meryl.
time. I
Time.
believe in you shitting. I think you're gonna have. This is. I don't. I'm not even gonna go into how big I think it's gonna be, but it's just you're gonna have a lot of fiber in your literacy.
My reading life. Yes.
I believe it. Yeah,
Yeah,
your reading bowels, your writing bowels will be cleared.
they're going to be huge. Yes.
What a way to wrap it up.
Good. I love it. Okay, so tell people where they can find you and where they can see your next performance.
Yes. Well, if anyone's in the Southern California area, I like almost always have a show happening in San Diego, LA, or the surrounding area. And I put all my shows on my Instagram, which is at Meryl Klemow, MErylKlemow.
Okay, I'll have that up as a graphic as well. Well, thank you
Yay.
so much, and this was wonderful
This
today.
was so much fun. Oh my God. I feel like you and I could seriously talk for like 9 hours, but at
We
least
could.
we'll,
We
yeah.
could.